Hey guys, this is Oshi and this is going to be my first impression of the of the new Dungeons and Dragons tarot deck. So if you're interested in this deck and what I think about it, then please don't stop watching. So first of all, here's the guidebook. I just removed it to show you that it's not my entirely necessarily favorite ever box, but it's not bad. But what's problematic is that whoever measured this ribbon didn't think about actually, adding enough length for the deck to be able to easily take it out of the box. So I don't know if, everybody else has the same length or it's just mine, but I will have to add something to this one. Otherwise I simply cannot, get it up without, struggle. And I'm afraid of, damaging the cards. So obviously I don't want to do that. So cards, but let's talk about the guidebook first. So, or background. I never played D&D. My brother never played D&D. No one ever played D&D, or at least I don't think they did when I was growing up. But, those were the times when girls wasn't invited to play these games anyway, so even if they did play, I would have known. So I don't have a history with the game itself, which you could be like asking me, why did you get the deck then? And that's the artwork. I'm not gonna lie, I love the artwork. But the other reason is because I know the word, because I grew up reading fantasy and sci-fi, but mostly fantasy. That's like these creatures, they live in those worlds that I grew up reading. So I knew that even if I don't know specifically the person or the character on the card, I could still use it. And I watched the walkthrough, and that was something that person mentioned, which is quite true and annoying, unfortunately, is that the minors doesn't have anything on them that indicates their suit. And I'm gonna tell you why that is the problem. This is an RWS base deck, but the minors are named and based on abilities in the game, which I think is really cool. Their strength, that signifies your physical ability to ability to move and change your environment. It's also your passion. Sorry guys, I almost cuffed myself to that. That was like, okay. So yeah, there's gonna be a cut in the video because I was just struggling to get, air. So where was I? So, strength is wands, by the way. It's passion, creativity, it's the physical part of life, which I think is really cool. And you can, read the description if you want to. Intelligence is obviously the source. And then we have wisdom, which is the cups, which I love because, it can connect to your gut feeling. And then we have charisma for the pentacles, which I think is the biggest one that you might not know immediately. That's the one that you're like, okay, yeah, because I might have thought about wands being charisma as well. But it's a good explanation because it's how you can influence the material world with your energy, which I love. So I love what they did with that. There's some spreads with full color pictures, and then you can use these cards to in the game that you're playing, which I really like. And I wish I could, I need people to play D&D with and use these decks because I think it's pretty cool. So on each cards, I mean not on the majors, but let me show you a minor. Oh no, okay, I thought for some reason I remember that they are on the cards, but no. So for every card you're gonna get a brief description, and then you have something that you can use in the game, which is really cool. I mean, if you have people to play with, I mean, do let me know. Do you play the game? Do you plan on using it? Would you try? Would other people in your campaign or in the game would look at you strangely if you did? And then we have some ways to create a story, and there are some examples, which is really cool. And then we have the deck. And my main problem is there's no explanation, nothing about the artwork. You know, we have this beautiful big picture, which is, to be honest, not necessary when you have the deck. And then just one sentence about following your heart with innocence and wonder. Okay, it's a good full description, but the fools are about much more. And this could be such an interesting deck and such a good one for beginners as well, if there would be more explanation. So I think it's a miss that they didn't include that and who's on the picture. You know, like it's a board just by the look of it, but is it a specific character? And if it is, why isn't it on the card? And I know you can be like, if you don't play the game, why, you know, you're not gonna know, and who cares? But I'm interested in this deck. I want to know more, and maybe I would, you know, be interested in playing the game if there would be more information about these characters, or there would be some, if it's even one specific character. I have no idea, because I don't think I didn't see that explaining anywhere, to be honest. And with the majors, it's not a problem, because usually you can, you know, just look at the card and just see what it is. But there, like I said, there's nothing on the minors that indicates their suit. And the problem is with that is that some cards, quite a lot of them, it's different from our usual interpretation or usual look of the cards. So I can't just be like, oh, this is the two of swords, and okay, maybe the two of swords is something that I can't remember, but there was something like, this is the three of swords. If I look at it, I don't necessarily, you know, think about the three of swords. It could be the moon, for example, or I don't know. But there are other cards where I was like, I can't remember what it is. And it wasn't obvious, like, necessarily that this is the page of swords, or I don't know. There was a few cards where I was like, oh, I'm not gonna remember immediately what they are. And sorry. That's not a problem, you know, if you want to learn and work with it, which I plan to do so. But I'm kind of right now, and that's why I haven't shuffled the deck yet, because, and I'm only gonna show you a few cards without, you know, removing them, because I don't want to mess up the order. I was thinking about that I could do like where's the minor, like add some dots underneath, and you know, one dot is the strength, the two dots is the intelligence or whatever. What is this? It's probably the 6 of Wands, right? Yeah, right. But I kind of don't want to ruin the card, so I just wish they would have just changed the tiny symbols that are here to something that matches the suit, and then this deck would be just so much easier to use, even if, you know, I don't think it's connected to if you know D&D or not. It's just that because it differs from the usual interpretation, sometimes it's easier if you have something on the card. Let it be color, or maybe there's color and I haven't noticed that yet. Maybe there's green for more green for the pentacles, even though I don't think so. But yeah, right now I'm afraid to shuffle it without, I don't know, making notes or making something like to remember everything. But that might be just my initial fear, and then it'll go away. But let me show you a few cards. Look at that High Priestess. And I don't think I have any cards, to be honest, that I didn't like. The Empress looks so fierce and so cool, and she has the bird in her hand. She could be, you know, like Queen of Swords as well, but you know, she's just brilliant. I love this Emperor. A dwarf for a king. I think it's just bringing in the whole culture of dwarves and what legacy means for them, and what type of leaders they can be. You know, sometimes a bit too rigid and things like that. I think it's just really cool. And Hierophant as well. I'm assuming this is specific to the game, but I have no idea. But you know, even if I don't know, I can still use the image and just think about the mystics in general or something like that. Lovers is really cool. It's not about necessarily about love, but going on a quest together, which is really cool. Strength. It's really, and I would love to know, you know, why an orc? Is it someone who's just going out, and does it only represent physical strength, for example? I would love to know. There's no explanation, so yeah, that's kind of sad. That is interesting. I'm not sure exactly what I think about this death card. The devil is really cool. I know it's the usual devil, but I think hey, here's an offer and sign on the dotted line is just really cool. We have tower with obviously dragons because dragons are bad. I love dragons. The star with the archer. Oh, with an elf. So cool. The moon is interesting. The sun is really cool and powerful. Judgment as well. I mean, I'm gonna show you all the cards now if I do that, so I shouldn't. I really don't want to. Oh, yeah, the word. I know that, I think Lisa Pappas said it, that for her, this card would be the Three of Cups, which yes, but I'm thinking about finishing the campaign together, you know, finishing the battle, reaching that conclusion point where you win everything that you know you could and you survived. And I think in this context, that's a really great word card. So for me, that works. But this is the Ace of Wands, but this is the Two of Wands, and it's no, I don't really know what, you know, what Two of Wands is inside here. Just like with the Three of Wands, there are 4 people, and I'm like, why? So, you know, cards like these, not necessarily something that I can immediately understand. 5 of Wands, they don't seem to have been in conflict, for example. Okay, so, you know, there are changes like that, which is really exciting for a deck, to be honest, but not necessarily, look at her, an easy thing to start working with the deck. Ace of Swords. Isn't he just cool? He doesn't have eyes. I do think that this card is brilliant, I mean beautiful, but I don't really have Three of Swords feelings from it. Which is not a problem if it would be explained, and I'm just, you know, I'm just sad that it haven't been explained. 7 of Swords. See, that makes sense. The 8 as well. All the spiders and everything. Oh, I really like her. Obviously, there's the dragon. And then we have an interesting king. You know, is this the actual king or who's the actual king and stuff like that. We have the Ace of... I think this is the cups, right? See, I already forgot. Which one? I think the wisdom, yeah, the cups or the second to last. Because we have cards like the Three of Cups that easy to remember and understand. Okay. 7 of Cups, not sure entirely. I mean, we're in water because there's that kind of fish in behind, you know, who just draws their prey in with the light, but we also doesn't seem to be in water, so I don't really know what's going on. But yeah, I just want to show, maybe there's a color, but there's a subtle change. 2 of, what is it? 2 of Pentacles. At first I was like, what is this even? And then I was like, okay, you have to, you know, pay attention to either reading or keeping that tiny gargoyle demon bound, because if you're not, then, you know, it can get away. Three of Pentacles. Okay. And yeah, dragon, of course, with the Four of Pentacles, because that's in this context, I'm gonna forgive you for that. But yeah, I hope, you know, I mean, it's really hard for me not to just go through the whole deck because I love the art style. That's a weird knight, though. You know, with the one eye. That's a good queen, and that's a good queen. Okay, I'm gonna stop because I'm gonna just sit here and show you all the cards, and that's what I have the flip through for. So yeah, my only issue with this deck, okay, two, that the minors are not indicated in the cards, you know, which suit they belong to, and the guidebook, even though there's enough space, there could be an explanation. Your smaller cards maybe, or you know, you can get rid of the cards and the pictures. I don't care, to be honest. If there's enough text about what you can actually see on the image, what was the point, or not point, but what they wanted to show with the cards, I find those informations so much more useful when starting to use a deck than just the usual, here's a keyword, here's what the so-and-so card means in general, because I can get that from a book, I can get that from any other deck, but what's specific for this one is the artwork, is the art style. I mean, look at this, and I just love that. So yeah, I wish that would be a bit more expressive, but all in all, I cannot wait to start working with this deck, even if I'm gonna be at first like, oh god, what card is this? And you know, I might just be like, you know what, I don't know, I don't care, I'm just go with my intuition and what I get from the card, and if I get it wrong, then I got it wrong for a reason, because sometimes that happens. Look at her. And sometimes that, you know, there's a border, but there's nothing over there, so why? Why? I might write an email and ask that, because I would love to know. Maybe there's an online, you know, source for people like me. But yeah, so this is my first impression. I'm quite curious how this deck will be in the long run. I will obviously post an update when I have a chance to work with this deck, which will happen quite soon, I think, because I'm thinking about leaving this one out and using it instead of the Mystical Medleys, which was my go-to deck in the past, I think, 2 months. Alongside maybe with the Field Tarot, we will see. But yeah, hope this was in any way useful. If you have any questions about anything, any card, the guidebook, or just the deck in general, please do let me know. I would love to help. And thank you so much for being here. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Those all help my channel. See you in the next one. Bye.